How many of you guys have gone out one night and say one night you feel completely confident and then the other night you feel like a piece of crap? Has anyone had that? How frustrating is that, right? Okay, and I used to get the same thing, all right? Now, this is kind of where it comes from. So whenever you feel good, it's not an accident. There's a specific recipe or strategy that you're using to get there, okay? Now, you might not feel like that because you probably don't know what it is yet, okay? But one of the first things, in fact, we teach our guys is how to create that all the time. It's not a fluke, all right? It's something you can actively create if you learn how it works and how to do it, okay? So I talked earlier about a bit of NLP stuff, right? So what our brain sort of processes in is pictures, sounds, and feelings predominantly, okay? That's how we perceive the world. That's how we interpret the world, right? The way we talk about this in NLP, just so you can see over there, we call it visual, auditory, kinesthetic, okay? So what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Now, this is not just the things you see outside, the things you hear around you, and the things that you touch, but it's also the pictures you're making in your head, the sounds or voice that you're hearing in your head, and the feelings that you're experiencing, okay, or how you're using your body even. Okay, so there's actually a strategy that you're using of this, a certain sequence right now that is either creating you being in the zone or creating you sucking, okay? Now, for example, let's say you saw a beautiful girl, so visual, right? Then the first thing you usually do is you go, wow, she's hot, right? So you feel a good kinesthetic feeling, right? And then you might go though, oh shit, I don't know if I'm good enough for her. And then you get that shitty voice in your head, right? So you have this auditory shit, okay? And then when you get that auditory shit, then you start seeing it going wrong, right? So this is just different for everyone, right? Slightly different. So you might start visually seeing it going wrong, and then that voice in your head goes, oh shit, don't do it, right? Maybe something like that. And then before you know it, you've got like nervous.
You get like this thing where you open up the first girl. If that girl responds quite well, then the rest of the night seems to go
But that's only if that's what you've decided that means. So if you decide if the first one goes well, I'm having a good night, then you'll get that. But if the first one goes shit, you go, oh no, this means I'm having a shit night, the rest of your night will go shit. So remember, beliefs, actions, results. So if you believe that you know, okay, so it all becomes clear. So the way it actually works is, at any point in time, a night can switch around. Because any girl, any scenario is different. You're also different, right? But right now, what I'm learning from what you're telling me, and these questions even, is telling me that right now, you've decided that you're not in control of that. Right now, you're outsourcing how you feel to the universe or to the girl that you're talking to, instead of being in control of it. Okay? And right now, you're still looking for validation and seeking from the girl to tell you you're good enough or tell you you're attractive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, like, think about it, guys. Why would a guy feel bad if he went and spoke to a girl and it didn't go well?
Seeking approval.
He's seeking approval, right? So he needs it to go well for him to feel good. Now, obviously, if you keep sucking every single time, then you're probably actually doing something wrong. You probably do suck and you need to figure out how to do it, right? But usually, you know, if you're working on it, and it sounds like you've been working on it a bit, then you're going to start to see improvements. But I used to suffer the same thing. It really sucked. And the thing that I did differently was, the first thing is I stopped looking for approval in the girls. So just said, look, there's a great expression, is like, reject me for me. So when you stop doing things to try and impress a girl, and you just say, this is who I am, I'm going to be the best version of myself, but I'm not going to do anything to try and impress you, then you stop looking for, oh, did it work? Did it work? And you stop looking for that positive feedback to feel good about yourself. The second thing I did was I learned how to use my psychology to help me instead of using it against myself. So I learned how to use, you know, even just like visualizing it going well before you do it. Obviously, all this stuff though, guys, comes from your beliefs. That's why mindset is so important. Like most of the game, 80% is mindset, psychology, or inner game as some people call it, right? Okay, so you've got to get that right. And when you believe you can, you actually start, it kind of autocorrects. You start visualizing it going well instead of badly. You start feeling excited instead of feeling nervous. You start saying, oh man, this is going to be awesome, I can't wait to meet this girl, instead of saying, oh my God, this is going to go bad, I'm scared. So it kind of automatically flips around. All right, so, and then the next thing I did is I stopped like hoping for me to have a good night. Now, obviously, it's kind of hard because you do want to have a good night, right? You want to have success. But if you're only focusing on the outcome, guys, the more you focus on the outcome, the less likely you are to get the outcome you want. Because all the girl sees is that guy again, oh, please show me I'm doing it right. Please show me I'm good enough, right? And so I let go of feeling good. And I also realized I didn't need to feel good for it to go well.
Could you have like a shitty moment and still like switch your mindset and then...
It's obviously harder if you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But right now you're setting yourself up to fail and you're not in control of it. You're at effect of what happens as opposed to creating what happens. So we have rules, for example, with our clients that help this. So if you guys want some cool rules, one of the things we say is the second you get to any bar or nightclub or anything, as soon as you walk in the door, you're not allowed any drinks or to go to the toilet until you've spoken to your first girl. Because what are the two biggest reasons that guys use to avoid going to talk to a girl? Or just get a drink or another drink, or I'll just quickly go to the toilet and then just put it off. And then before you know it, you're chasing back to like, oh, you're on the back foot already, right? So that's one thing you do. The other thing you do is take the pressure off yourself. So we also tell guys, the first 3 on any night don't count. They're just warm-ups. Give yourself some warm-ups and stop saying, if this first one doesn't go well, then everything's ruined. Okay? Another thing you can do is stop trying to make it feel good, because feeling good is a side effect of taking action. If you walk up to a girl, do a great approach, even if it doesn't get the result you want, awesome, and make your criteria about what I did as opposed to what happened. Because right now, what you're doing is you're putting, yeah, you're right, mate. Right now, what you're doing is you're putting the control of how you feel outside. So like how she feels. You can say this is your circle of influence. So anything inside here you can control. So did I walk up to a girl? Yes. Did I have good body language? Yes. Did I say something? Yes. Right? You can control all that shit. But right now, you're putting control of how you feel outside yourself. And so you're never going to be able to be in control of that.